So this is just going to be a simple, straight to the point, how-to on doing fuel tank and all of the components back there, tie it up to the taillight panel, gas cap, all that stuff. So it should be a pretty quick video, but just to show properly how to do it as far as sealing it off in the trunk area and just installing that with the right hardwares and whatnot. But just to show you what I have a new tank. Strip caulk, this is from 3M, strip caulk, that's what I'm putting on the floor in the trunk there. We'll show you in a second before you put the tank down. New sending unit with a brass float on it. I always like to get the ones with the brass float instead of the plastic ones. Filler pipe hose, the gasket that goes on the taillight panel with the screws, gas cap, filler pipe hose, and the clamps for the hose, gas tank screws, and the sending unit hold down trim ring, and also the two wire clips for the fuel sending unit wire that's running along the tank. It goes in between two of the tank screws on the front side of it. So what I'm going to do first is set my strip caulk in place. I'm just going to run a single line of it around the perimeter here that the tank's going to sit down on, and that's going to seal it off from the weather outside. It creates a seal in between, which is highly recommended to do that when installing a tank in yours. So just going to go ahead and set that on and show you what that looks like, and then we're going to set the tank in place. All right, so what I'm going to do to prep the gas tank to go in, set the sending unit in place, I actually take a little bit of grease and put it around that circle there in a couple spots where the gasket, the O-ring, is going to go in place, and that's going to help hold it in place while I'm putting it together so it doesn't move all over on you. And I'll set the O-ring on, make sure it looks like it's going to set good. Taking the sending unit, the tube's going to point up towards the top side of the tank, which is going to connect to your fuel line that's running from front to back. Set that on, and it does have two locating tabs that'll keep it in place. I'm trying not to move it too much. Put the lock collar on, give it a little bit of a twist, make sure I'm centered. Then I'm going to take I use a dead blow and a screwdriver, and we're going to tap it around little by little, hit on that one. There's 3 different tabs that lock it in. We're going to hit on each of them a little bit to get it to spin around nice. And that's it, it's locked in place, so it's ready to set in the back of the car. And just a quick show you before the tank goes in, you can see the line of strip caulk that I put all around it. That's going the whole perimeter there. And now I'm gonna quick grab the tank, set it in place. So now on this particular car, the wire clips that were holding the fuel sending unit wire were on the first 2 holes on the front side. So I'm going to run those through on the screw, and just the other ones are all just the same. They're just putting them in. And this is specific to this car. Some of the other years might be a little bit different, but I'm going to put this car back to how it was originally. Luckily I have documentation of how a car was, so I know pretty much where everything needs to go on this car. All right, so now you're ready to put the filler pipe and the hose, clamps, all this stuff on. First thing you're gonna do, take the body seal that's going between the body and the filler pipe, slide that up in place so you don't forget that. And then I'm gonna go ahead, set my filler pipe hose, attach it onto the tank part first, slide it down the whole way so it meets up against. And I'm gonna slide the clamp on in the direction that I want it, just to have it in place here. I'll snug that up then later. I'm gonna take the same clamp for the top side, and I make sure all my bolts are pointing in the same direction. The bolt head's on this side, and they're gonna be hidden on the back side so you don't see them. And I'm gonna take filler pipe, run it through the taillight panel. And you wanna be careful because you don't wanna slip and hit the tail light panel, but just work it down in there. And then at the same time, you're lining up your gasket on the outside here, because there is holes pre-made in that filler pipe seal. And then that's it. I'm just going to go ahead and tighten these clamps up, and then we'll move on to the back side to finish it up and put the gas cap on and the filler pipe screws, and then that'll complete a fuel system for these cars. They're pretty simple, so just going to snug these up, and then we'll come to the outside here. Now I'm going to finish off the back end by putting in the screws for this filler pipe, which on this car it takes, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the small screws, and then the last hole is going to be a hold down for the gas cap, which gets a through bolt that's attached to the cap itself. Just sneak the gasket more center. Okay, so this is all on. And like I said, the last one is on the gas cap. It holds it on so it's not a twist off and pull off. It can just hang there. Let's see if the hole's good. And that's it. Gas cap, everything's on for the tanks. Now it's just hooking it up to the line, going up the side of the car, and fuel tank. And that's going to wrap up putting the gas tank in this 69. Hopefully it helps you if you're doing something similar, especially with pointing out what parts you need and what screws and hardware, because that's half the battle with these cars, is getting everything together so you don't get held up when you're putting it in the car. So I had everything there to fully assemble that. And now in the next video, I'm going to do the rest of the back end stuff here, put the lights in, rear valence, backup lights, marker lights, any trunk wiring, set that stuff and hook that stuff up. I'm going to take the trunk lid off so I can do a trunk weather strip. It's easier off the car. And just rear bumper, finish up the back end of this car, and then work my way forward for some other videos coming. But thanks for watching this one. Hopefully it helps. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. And see you in the next video.